Hi all. Right, it's been a while again since I've recorded anything. Not really had much time. And then when I have, just been no feeling like getting back into it. I think it's just because we've ended that day and moving on to the next day. But I really haven't had the time to sort of sit and spend it. And I'm sure once I start get going again, it'll start flowing a bit. So anyway, yeah, so we're on the 21st, aren't we? So, okay, let's get moving. So, first part is getting the allied units from the calendar in the reserve phase and putting them in the reserve units box. So, let me see what's what there. Okay, so we're getting 3 infantry units from 7th Corps. And we're getting this big stack from 3rd Corps, and remember we brought them forward. They shouldn't be coming in until the 22nd, but we can't remember the card now. Is it Pattern on the Move? Is it? Maybe. I think that's it. Yeah, that was it. Pattern on the Move, which brings in the 3 Corps units one day earlier, that's pretty awesome. We've got 3 cards to add as well, which I've laid them aside so I don't forget, because they're dated the 22nd, but obviously you shuffle them in as well. So that's Allied reserves. Now, you just see there's some German reserves. They get the fuel marker again today, so no issues with fuel again. Hopefully they might have some issues on the next day, because it looks like I think Marche was the other one that they might have got, but we've got that kind of well protected now, so I think this might be their last day without any fuel issues. So they get the units from the 53rd coming in, and then there's an infantry unit from the 85th. But obviously they don't they don't move until they get the army group card. And yeah, and they didn't move these reserve units at all from the previous day, did they? This is dated the 17th as well. I think it's the delayed reserves. I think that's only an allied thing, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so the next part of the reserve phase, 18 plus, if there's any allied units that are dated 2 days previously to the day we're on, so 19th or earlier, then we could deploy them for free. And also we would release the German OKW units if the conditions have been met. The conditions are one of the German units has got to reach adjacent to the Muse. I've not been able to do that yet, but I was looking at the end of the last part, and they're very close to be able to do that, and we need to put some attention into Liège, I think. Just swing around there. I mean, the whole first SS and the second SS, majority of them are up that area. One of these units, jumping across into this hex here, that would then be adjacent to the Muse there. So it'd be nice to get a move. I'm kind of hoping to get an air power card and stop the Allies from stop the Germans from taking the first impulse. And well, I not only need that, I need to move some units or deploying the 3rd Corps down the bottom, aren't they? Yeah. Anyway, we'll get around to that when the time comes. But I think that's probably the most serious issue we've got. It looks like we've held everything in the middle there around Havelange. It looks well protected here. This looks not bad, but these are the units I would maybe push up. These 7 Corps units here, or maybe one of them anyway. And then also round about Marche here. Looks pretty well protected now, so I feel like we should have stopped them pushing any further forward west there. I think the main worry, although Liège is a hard nut to crack, being the city, being across the river, if they get enough of the units across and into position, then it could give us some trouble. Okay, so on to the card prep phrase. So let's see what's happening with that. Okay, so normally we wouldn't be getting any cards today because it's the 21st, but these are the three core cards that you get accelerated with a pattern on the move. So they're going to come in, this primary one's going to go in the draw pile, the two supplementary ones are going to go in the available supplementary, which is there, and then we'll shuffle the available supplementary and draw so many, so give me a sec. So that's them shuffled up. So for the 21st, the supplementals go up to 8, hand size stays at 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's before supplemental cards that won't get used there. These are the discarded supplemental cards for us, just checking they're all supplemental. So they then go in there to be available for the next day. Now the army group card and the first army card I think was in there. Something Martin mentioned recently, where you seem to get into a cycle where you can have one sort of day where you're seeing strong cards and then the next day you're seeing kind of weak cards there. So it looks like I'm in that position myself a little bit, and this is possibly one of the weekdays. So maybe good that we've got the third core to bring in, and hopefully at least one of the supplemental cards will be in this bunch. But we know we've got the primary one anyway, so they go in there as well. And then all the rest of the primaries go in there, don't they? Oops. Yeah, they're all primary. Okay, so we'll shuffle all that up and we'll draw our hand size, which is 6, and we'll have a look at what we've got. Okay, so we've got some more cards to play with now. We've got 6 cards in hand. There's 8 still left in the draw pile, so alright, let's have a look at what we got. Yeah. Well, that doesn't look anything special, does it? We do have air power where there's no command card though, so that's good. Yeah. Stopping them from taking the first impulse, and then I was hoping I think I was really looking for something with the 7 core to either deploy the reserves or move a couple of the units up to Orsley's. So okay, well, we've got the air power, so that gives us something to think about at least. Right, and then the German cards, obviously their reserve reinforcement cards don't come in until the army group card gets drawn. So I think they've got maybe one, or they've got 2. Yeah, they've got 2. They're going to get these 2 when the army group card comes in. Obviously, bring out the 53rd Corps. Right, I'll shuffle these up. Okay, that's the German draw pile shuffled up. So now they've got their fading initiative, and now they discard 3 cards today. So let's hope for something better than the last day. I think it was pretty poor the last day. Well, it's a first SS card, but yeah, only for the Piper 150th, so not the best. 47th again, though, a division card. One more. All division cards. Oh, did it? Yeah, that was the unit. Yeah, so all division cards. Oh dear. So sure that was great then, was it? Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so into the supply phase, and the first part's generate German detachments. So I'll go and look through that again and maybe point out anything that comes up of interest. It's just going to put some detachments down somewhere. Can't remember exactly how it works, does it? Anyway, I'll not bore you with that. I'll just show you what the outcome is, the big picture. Okay, this first detachment I came across, it would spawn a detachment. And all these possible places, German and Allied supply is traceable to. These two, however, German supply I don't think can be traced to either of these. Certainly not this one. Just remember this is still an Allied bridge. So I don't think that one counts, and I don't think this one either in the town here, which I'm kind of glad about, like, because that wouldn't have been very nice. But you can't trace. You can't trace across the river. Well, you could trace. We think you can. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was confirmed, wasn't it? You could trace one across there, as if unbridged. But getting on this road here, there's no bastions up here. It's Allied controlled, and then going along this way, we can't get across this bridge. Well, or back across that bridge, for instance. We can't reach to there. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're short of reaching to this hex. So I don't believe German supply is traceable to that hex. So that leaves the A3, and the tiebreakers were closest to the map edge. So it'd be one of these two, and that's a 2. That's a 3. So that's the highest one. So I think it goes there. Yeah, I think this is a weather detachment is going to spawn something. We've not got any occupied towns either that could be considered. I think there was only one, but it wasn't. I had a look at it. So this one now, Allied supply is traceable to this by going. Remember, detachments count for this purpose. This is exerting a zone of control, so you got to watch that. So, but you can go 1, 2 into there and then trace away for Allied supply. Now for German supply, well, in actual fact, I think I can go 1, 2, 3 onto that road there. But I think, like I say, we confirmed that it can step over an enemy control bridge and treat it as an unbridged river hex side. So 1 into that hex, get some on a road that you can then trace supply. So German supply is traceable to that. This one, Allied supply, is definitely traceable. Though I'm not 1, 2. I don't think German supply is traceable to this one. Hang on. Ah, yeah, it is. It can go 1, 2, 3, 4 onto the road here, and then it traces away from there. So yeah, all of them are good. And this might have been one here, but remember, it can't be adjacent to an Allied unit. So this one's closest to the map edge. Yeah, so it's going to be that one, isn't it? That's the first tiebreaker. Do you like? So let's go in there, and what we say, Allied supply is traceable, German supply, and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it. There was only 2 placed. I would say there was only one town, but it wasn't both supply wasn't traceable to it. So okay, so right, let's get moving on. So we're going to check for supply status now. Checking German units first, and then the Allied units. So I'll have a look, and if anything crops up, I'll let you see. Okay, checking German supply. I can't see any issues with any of these. This one down here can just trace across into there. This one in this town can trace it. Although these bridges are down, it can go 1, 2, 3 into there and then away. There's no problems. This is a good bridge down here, so these units can trace across. This guy can jump across the river. They're okay. Yeah, I mean the Piper unit there, he's fine. There's lots of ways out there. The 3, what was it? 67 core units are fine. Well, this guy's fine here. Not seen any problems at all, I don't think. We've not really hampered their supply at all, have we? Even up at Liège there. Yeah, no problems. I can't see a problem in any other units at all, I don't think. We could do with trying to squeeze things in here a bit, maybe cause some trouble with them, or get round the back maybe, but well, like I say, we've maybe not had the chance to do a lot of that. Maybe this is the day for it, but I'm also concerned with Liège, like I say, so right, well, don't think I can see anything. I'm just pause and have a quick glance, let you have a look as well. Yeah, it looks all good to me. They're still all in supply, all the German units. So, right, over to the Allies. Might be a slightly different story. Well, this is a new situation. First of all, we've got this unit which is isolated. He's a green infantry unit in a forest. He's still surrounded, so he can't trace supply. So 13.24 surrender. An unsupplied unit already isolated during the supply phase continues to suffer all the effects of being isolated. In addition, roll the die and check for surrender of the isolated unit. If the die result falls into the die roll range for the unit quality, remove one step from the unit. If this was the last step, remove the unit from the map and place it in the eliminated units box. Check surrender for each unit and an isolated stats separately. So he's green, so the surrender result's going to be in a 1 to 6. He has 2 steps though, so he won't be eliminated, he'll just lose a step. I get that in there. Just about. Right, okay, so 1 to 6 is not what we want. Oh, we've got an 8, good. So I think that means he's okay. Right, so he just stays the same then. He just stays an isolated unit. Okay, and then there's this out of supply stack, which I think are going isolated as well now, aren't they? This is another possibility of, using an air, doing the air supply on them, and you don't get an awful lot of air power cards, that's the thing. I think as the game goes on, obviously, you maybe get a few more, but yeah. So he's out of supply now. He is surrounded, isn't he? Zone of control here. This guy's not exerting zone of control, but this one is. Remember, we made a slight error, almost moved that unit away. Was thinking that this was okay, but this is bracketed. But he has got zone of control all around him, and although this unit isn't exerting the zone of control, he's blocking that hex. So yeah, there's no way for him to trace supply. So unfortunately, they're going to isolated as well. Yeah, it would have been nice to free them up. Like I say, the fact that they're adjacent to this wee single bracketed unit, if I chuck an air supply on them and then attack there, and and then maybe they can, they go Bill Sams at Vith, they could come down and maybe take one of them back. Yeah. Right, okay. Right, let's look about, see what else is to be checked. Okay, the units down the southeast here are fine. This can go trace into here and then here, and so can that. So they're okay, even though they're surrounded. They've got units adjacent to trace supply through. So, and then we've got the same issue in Bastogne. Now this is another thing we're going to have to seriously consider as well, isn't it? I forgot about this. These guys are surrounded as well, and there's like 3 armoured units in there as well, and they're now going isolated. Oh, I'm telling a lie, they were in low supply, weren't they? Yeah, I'm jumping the gun. They're now out of supply. That was right, wasn't it? Yeah, that's the counter I took off, yeah. Okay. Okay, so not quite so bad. I mean, it's not great, but okay. I think that maybe could be it though. So look up the north. Yeah, everything else seems pretty solid. Yeah, looks good to me. So, but yeah, not great. I mean, Bastogne again, something we want to. I don't know. Yeah, got a lot of things to think about still. Okay, so that's everything done. Apart from the last bit regarding. Oh, what is the bit that gets missed out? The roadblock, isn't it? Did I not? I thought I wrote that in somewhere. Hang on a sec. Yeah, I almost missed that again. I wrote a wee something in the plus roadblocks in the back of the book now in the supply phase. It's if ally supply cannot be traced to the roadblock, you'd remove it, but ally supply is still traceable to that one roadblock, so that's fine. So yeah, the last bit is, do I want to do allied air interdiction? Well, I do have an air power card. It is a no command card as well, so it's not really that it's an awfully important card. That's only one I do have. So, got to decide, do I want to do that? Skip the German impulse and what was it? Discard the top 2 cards. So that'd be nice. It's just having that air power card, thinking about, well, maybe not. Maybe the units in Bastogne can hang on, but these armoured units up there that are just become isolated. Let me just double check the rules with that air supply though. Yeah, I mean it just says quite plainly on the player aid. Air power, play as one of the following. Interdiction, you play during step 4, which is where we are just now. Or you can play an air supply, play during your impulse to immediately restore any allied unit or stack to full supply. So it's just straight up do it. There's no conditions, restrictions or anything that I can see anyway. It's just that. So I think if I had a card to back up the whole skipping the Germans first impulse, if I had something solid that I'm going to want to do, I've not really studied everything yet, but it's just there's nothing jumping out. I think I obviously wanted to do something up here, maybe move. Like I say, I think I wanted the activation of the 7 core, or maybe place the reserves out. I didn't even get the 3rd. Well, no, that's helpful. They're way down the bottom. Okay, let me have a wee look and make my decision. I'm struggling to make my mind up here. I've had it pause for ages. Because of the cards that I've got in my hand, the only thing I can really see myself doing is activate 5th core. Well, there's an infantry unit there, there's one in there, but nothing can get up here. We've got this guy here. I thought, well, wait a minute, Grant, you can maybe move him back and then him into here. But if I exit that hex, then the Germans just need to move into there, and then they're adjacent to the Meuse. So that's the thing I'm trying to avoid. My main worry is one of these units is stepping across into there. That's them adjacent to the Meuse. I mean, they've got to be there come the supply, the reserve. Is it reserve phase or supply phase? Yeah, in the reserve phase, if at least one German unit is in a hex adjacent to or across the Meuse. So, I mean, the only thing I can think about doing, and I thought I could maybe get one of these units moved into here, but I don't think I do have the movement for it because I've got to break zone of control. So this unit could go 1, 2, 3, 4 into here, but if I've got a unit in that hex, then he can't then move from zone of control to zone of control, so that would work. But the only way you move the 8 units is with my activate any 1 unit, and that's right at the beginning of the day. So that feels like, not sure what we're doing that, but I think that's the only thing I can do. I mean, it's either that or we take a chance, not play the air interdiction, let the Germans have an impulse. But I mean, if they draw the first SS card, I've got to feel that one of the units would move across me. I suppose I could go through the movement methods and work it out, but I kind of feel like one of the units is going to move, because he's moving adjacent to a VP hex, isn't it? In fact, is it not just as straightforward as that? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Movement method 2, isn't it? Or in fact, wait a minute. Right. No, it's a special move. Move adjacent to the Muse. If no German unit in the game has entered a hex bordered by the Muse River, move 1 active unit to such a hex. So that's a priority move. It's a special move. He would just be able to jump across there. So that's what's going to happen if I draw a first SS card, and not one of them got discarded. So okay, I'm going to pause again. Okay, another big pause, and I'm still not 100% sure. I feel that it's this is the one dangerous hex at the moment for the OKW to get released. I mean, the other one is if they manage to destroy that. I mean, if this second SS attack into here and maybe get support, they're coming across the river right enough. But if they do manage to retreat that guy or eliminate him, then they'll just move into that hex and be adjacent anyway. So that would be that. But as a city, so you know, there's a bit more chance of that surviving. I think it's awful risky to let the Germans have an activation in the hope that they don't draw a first SS card, and then we manage to draw, well, probably looking for a 7-core card. But other things, moving these units away from here, this is Ufe, so this is threatened quite strongly as well. And if I do activate any 1 unit, and I do make, say it's this unit, or I've actually considered it could be this cavalry unit, which might be a better choice, although maybe not really. You know what, it might actually be better that unit and leaving the... Anyway, whatever one it is, if it's a 7-core, then remember I can't then activate the next impulse as well. So if I happen to draw a 7-core card, I'm going to be sitting staring at that. Mind you, once I've made that move into that hex, that's probably all I need. Okay, I made my decision. I'm going to take a chance. I was almost going to do it, and now I'm going against it. I've had tough choices in this game at times. Yeah, I'm going to take my chances and just hope that the first SS isn't one of the 2 cards that are drawn, because it's also going to spoil. I mean, part of my thinking here is, mind you, I can't do all that in a 1-er, can I? Maybe get these units supply back, and I've got the division card to activate this. That's the 7th Armoured Division in there. I'll maybe have an attack in there. This feels like not the priority though, is it? It's like I should be. It's just, if I had the 7th Army card, I'd feel so much better about it, because at least I'd be then, you know, able to do something with the units. But I'm having to use my activate any 1 unit to do what I'm needing to do. And but I'm forgetting it's going to take 1 impulse to remove that, giving the Germans another impulse, and then my next impulse is going to be, so maybe that isn't a great idea. Because the other thing is, if I don't do it and the first SS do activate, there's some first SS units around this isolated unit, so they'll just have an attack. They might not have the odds, but because it's isolated, they'll have a go, and then you never know, they might get lucky. Piper might move in as well. Make your mind up, Grant. Okay, I keep changing my mind back and forward. So, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to play their power. After all that, so we're on step 4 of the, what is it? The supply phase. Allied in interdiction. You may play an air power event to discard top 2 cards of the German deck and also skip the first German impulse of the day. So I'm going to do this. So we play that, and now I do want to see the first SS come in. Okay, so we're going to discard the top 2 cards. Oh, right, Army Group B. So we need to pause there, don't we? No, hold on though. Should I draw the other card first? Because some cards are going to shuffle in, aren't they? These cards are going to shuffle in. I'm in the middle of that. Surely I should draw them both, you would think. It's quite interesting though, isn't it? Wonder if that's came up before. Hang on. Okay, I'm not 100% sure. I had a quick look, but I dare say this is maybe. Surely it's come up for somebody before, and they maybe just made a judgment call themselves. Because when you draw this card, I'm supposed to pause, bring the reserves down, and then shuffle these cards in. What is it, 8.2, isn't it? But I feel like I'm in the middle of this air interdiction, and I feel like I should draw the 2 cards before shuffling these cards in. So, well, if I do this now, there's no going back, because I'm going to shuffle the deck. So, I'm going to call that yes. I'm going to draw the second card, and both the cards are going to be discarded. Then I'm going to activate the Army Group card, shuffle the cards in. So, well, like I say, there's no reverse on this one, but if you want to give me your thoughts on that one for the future, if it happens to occur in the future, it's maybe one of these things that's unlikely to happen very often, but I suppose it could happen. Okay, so I'm going to go with that then, okay? Well, that's quite nice, to be honest. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we were drawing, wasn't it? Yeah, right, okay, let's discard the other card. Oh my gosh, look at that. Well, I think that was a good call, wasn't it, guys? Right, now I'm kind of annoyed that, am I doing this right? Should this not be drawn yet, and should we be shuffling things in? Look, that's what I've decided I'm going to do. Let me know what you think. So both these cards are discarded through the air interdiction, and I'm going to now bring the reserves down and shuffle the cards in. So give me a sec. Okay, so we brought down the 253rd unit, so they'll join the Führer Grenadier unit there, and then the other unit was this 85th Infantry unit. So, and then with that, there's 2 cards dated the 21st, so they're now going to be shuffled into the deck as well, because they're the Army Group card. Okay, so that's everyone shuffled in, so that was 2 brilliant cards to have drawn there. Really strong. That's, I mean, surely the Army Group card, it would have been the first card, wouldn't it? Oh no, yeah, the Army Group card's got a 5, isn't it? So it would have been the command card. And so okay, the non-bracketed unit in the cards. Oh, it's any unit, isn't it? Yeah. So there's a good chance that might have well been up beside Liège, to be honest. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, well, hopefully I did do that right. But I could only go that way or the other. That felt like the right way to do it. Draw them both first, then do it, then shuffle in. But anyway. Right, okay, right, because I've been rabbiting on and struggling to make my mind up. So that's me discarded that air power card, yeah, so I'm one card short now. So Germans are going to skip the first impulse as well. And so we'll get to do our, like I say, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do an any one unit move, which isn't what you want to do in your very first impulse, but if I've gone that far to do that, I might as well do it. Okay, I'm going to cut this video here just now though. I know it's not done anything, it's just all the beginning steps and whatever. It's probably kind of long-winded and whatever. But hopefully I'll be back shortly to start my impulse and hopefully get the game moving a bit. Okay guys, cheers for now. Hi all. Right, yeah, I've just realised how amazing that Allied Air introduction was, really. Getting both the cards, that's like, because I'm pretty sure the Army Group card I think would have activated the stuff up here. If you look at it, I think that's the most concentrated lot of units. I mean, okay, there's maybe one or two bracketed, right enough. There's definitely one bracketed there, but I mean that, and then the 5th Panzer Army card. Oh, that was really lucky. So I should think myself. Yeah, because if I hadn't played that, that's what would have happened, and that would have been the first impulse they done, was with the 2 cards. Okay, so we did do that, and we got lucky with that. So we might as well follow up doing what we had thought about doing and thought not about doing, and then eventually did it. So I'm going to use this card to activate any one unit. I mean, okay, it's at the beginning of the day, but there's no point doing what I just done and then not moving a unit into place. I can't get any 5th Corps units into the hex I want, or 18 Corps units as well, and then the only cards that I've got 12 cores away down the bottom. So it's got to be an any one unit. So I'll put my wee sugar cube on top of the cards to say that there'll be no more of that today. And I don't think I will move that cavalry unit because that's Ufe. I think I want to keep that strong, and I think I'd like to leave the 2-step unit there because this is going to be across the river. So I'm going to move this guy 1, 2, breaking zone of control, 3. Like I say, I can't get him up round here because he was breaking zone of control. Initially I thought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was perfect, but obviously it's 2 to move away at first. So 2, 3, and then, yeah, it's just got to be into there. Like I say, the good thing, I mean, what is that? It's 8 strength, but it's coming across the river. And okay, he might come down to having a go at that. Yeah, I should have moved the 4 strength unit instead. It's just that it's quite I think there's 6 or 7 strength in there. I don't want to leave this too vulnerable as well, so that these units might be able to do something with this guy and then get round this, around Doofy and that. So yeah, I think I'll stick with that and just move that unit. So basically that's going to be that. Nothing more to do. Now, like I said before, although something crossed my mind afterwards, after saying that, if I do actually draw the 7 core card, yeah, I can't activate 7 core units, but I do have 3 reserves, and I could use the 7 core card to deploy the reserves. I can still do that, so that got me thinking, well, that's still a plus to that. Okay. So that's my impulse over, and that's all I can do. Nothing terribly involving there. Right, let's move on. Let's get actually, well, we're going to draw 2 more cards, right? Sugar key both, and let's see what we get. I was going to say, well, that's not bad if it's an air power, but it's not. We're on the 21st, so it's only engineers. Oh, an 8 core. So no 7 core. Yeah, if that had been air power, that would have been nice, because then I could have done what I was thinking and removed that isolated marker, and then maybe got that was it 7th armoured units moving. It's not yet, because saying just before we started drawing the cards, Martin had mentioned the fact that seems to be how it can happen, where you end up with a good day of cards and then a poor day of cards. I mean, yeah, some supplementals will come and go. You might shuffle, what was it? I think there was 4 or 5 cards got left that didn't get drawn for today. So there's always that random part. However, okay, let's move on to German Impulse. Actually, there was a couple of things when I think about things that I've not talked about recently. You're all cringing now and running for the pause button or the stop button. Yeah, give me a sec. Yeah, okay, the first thing I want to bring up was, it was the infantry unit, wasn't it? It was in here, that I moved into here. I was quite confident at first. He moved with movement method. It was the infantry move that moves adjacent to a VPX. Is it movement method 5? I think it is. Yeah, move adjacent to allied VPX, and I think he was here. And we went 1, 2, 3 into here, adjacent to Ufe. And then I was confident about it at first, and it was after looking back on it, and I thought, well, because I think I talked about the fact that he may want he would tactically adjust if he could get to this hex or this hex, which he can, obviously. This is where he would want to adjust it, because he's in a hex with other units, so he wants to get to an empty hex adjacent to the VP hex. But then after watching back in the video, I started doubting myself, thinking, well, he's adjacent to an allied unit. I mean, he's adjacent to this allied unit too. So should he tactically adjust and stay where he was in this empty hex rather than stacking with other units? And I started putting the doubts in my head, and I made a comment at the start of the video after I'd uploaded the video. Well, just put it in the comment section. And was looking for somebody to come and see what they thought. And Martin said he's leaning towards agreeing with me not making that tactical adjustment. He talks about that said it's not entirely obvious, blah blah blah, if you want to read the rest of it. And my thinking here is, for a while we were thinking that you could move with different movement methods and maybe not complete the movement method, maybe not finish in the hex that you need to be like this move is needing to be adjacent to a VP hex. So for a while I think we were thinking, okay, it moves adjacent to that, then it can adjust and maybe not be adjacent to that. But John Butterfield came back and sort of confirmed that that wasn't the case. It had to complete its full movement. The only one that sort of you can mess about with is movement method 11, because you're moving closer to army objective. So you could move 3 hexes closer to your army objective and then tactically adjust to end up only 1 hex closer to your army objective and be in a tactically adjusted hex, But you can't do that with other movement methods. If the movement method says that you want to move adjacent to an allied VP hex, it needs to be that. And I think that's, where we're at. Because if I move that infantry unit back there tactically adjusting it, it's not going to be adjacent to that VP hex anymore, which kind of breaks that rule. And maybe for a while we were thinking that was okay to sort of bend that rule, but I think John Butterfield straightened that one out eventually. Okay, so I think that was the only thing. Well, apart from all the stuff Martin, he posted all these recent sort of clarifications that he got from John Butterfield up on BGG. He's done really good work with that. He's posted all the sort of confirmations what John had said about the questions that he'd asked and that. And it's really good. Certainly worth a look through. Most of the things, well, yeah, I think it's everything that's came up in my game. In fact, yeah, because he does, I think he's got a sort of comment at the beginning of it all that says it's within my playthrough. Now, most of them, I'm going to set to find the one I want to see. Yeah, right. I talked about all the answers that Martin got before. Apart from one, I think I've got a feeling there was another one as well, but I can't remember what it was. But I think the big one for me was this movement method is considered complete or considered to have moved. This has been kind of bothered me for a while, this one, and John Butterfield's eventually come back with this one and confirmed that John Bryan, I believe you were under the feeling that you would say that the unit has moved and you would tilt the unit. I think there was somebody else that said that as well. I don't know about Martin. I think you were maybe on the fence about this one, Martin. But basically what he said is the units involved. Right, hang on. I'm talking about movement methods 7 and 8, which they end with movement is considered complete, and movement method 12 ends with considered to have moved. So, but basically what John says, the units involved in all 3 movement methods that I've mentioned have acted. They can participate in an attack, but they can't be removed to reserves and they can't receive IPs. So there you go. That's confirmed by the main man himself. So good to get that one out of the way, because that one kind of bothered me. You know, I did feel like that was probably the intention, but the wording just didn't feel good with me. And the fact that between 7 and 8 and 12 there was a difference with the way it was worded threw me even more. So I kind of felt that IPs. So you know what, there could be a couple of units out there with an IP marker on them that maybe shouldn't have, because I played it the way I kind of thought it. I'm not going to go back and look and all that. An IP marker's it's not that big a deal. Whether any units bounce back to reserves, I don't think they would have with that, but there might, like I say, there might be 1 or 2 IP markers that maybe shouldn't have been, but that's good to get that one sorted. So now we know that I can just movement and consider complete. I'll just tilt the unit 45 degrees, and then all he can do after that is attack if he's adjacent to an enemy unit, and that's that. So yeah, brilliant work there, Martin, sorting it all out and posting it up in BGG. So go and have a look at all the, because I mean, there are tricky wee things that came up within my game that never really got straight answers, and you need the designer or his team to sort of come up with these answers to feel absolutely confident about it. You know, it's all very well saying, well, I think that means that and I think that means that, but some wording that just shows you it can make a game play totally different. But okay, right, that's that. Right, let's get a German impulse. Okay, let's see what we're getting. 58th Division card and 7th Army card. Well, that's probably not so bad. Actually, not the first SS or the second SS. So no primary card. This is a higher command value. So 7th Army card is going to be the command card. there is no event and the support card, so yeah, we're going to do the 7th Army card. Oh, actually quite good this one came up as well, because this was the other thing I know. Remember I had this thing about what was it, all within all units, it says all those units on the card, it says all units on the rule book, and Martin felt like it should just be 7th Army units here, and I was like, oh, it doesn't say that in the rule book, and he talked about a post made by John way back, but anyway, he actually made that question to John, and he did confirm that it would be 7th Army units only. It doesn't activate units outside the 7th Army. Okay, so what does it do again? Locate the non-bracketed unit. I feel like I've been away for ages. I can't remember how things work. Locate the non-bracketed unit in the card's army that has the most non-bracketed units within 2 hexes of the unit. Right, okay. And it must be in the same army or OKW. Right, let me have a wee look and see what is. It's more than likely in here somewhere, isn't it? Okay, it seems to be between these two. They both grab 5. I thought there was more than one unit here, but it's not. It's a control marker, and this is the core objective markers. There's only one unit in here. So, but if this was the center activation, it would grab this guy 1, 2. I just count it as cells as well, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one would grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. That's just one unit as well. So it's between the 2 and what is the tiebreaker again? If it's furthest from the army objective hex. Yeah. Okay. Right. Give me a sec. Okay, they're both the same amount away. I have a feeling we maybe had this before, didn't we? They're both 11 hexes away from the army objective. So how did I decide this one? Because it doesn't tie break any further than that from that. I mean, if you go by compass direction, it would be this, but then we're looking furthest away, not closest to, so I'm not sure. The only other things, the last resort tiebreakers. If a choice of unit remains after applying all tiebreakers, choose a unit with the lowest selector number, then the lowest core number. Okay. Right, give me a sec. Yeah, I get the feeling this has came up in my playthrough before, probably with the same 7th Army activation. So there's nothing in the rules that tiebreak it any further than furthest from the army objective. So I'm going to just have to go with the last resort tiebreakers and say if a choice of unit remains after applying all tiebreakers, choose the unit with the lowest selector number. So I'm going to go with that, but by all means let me know, guys, if that's I've missed something there, or maybe that is something that needs just a little bit more tie break done. So this is selector number 1, this would have been selector number 8. So yeah, I'm gonna have to just go with this and hopefully we've got that right. Okay, now yeah, this is going to activate this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. So also, because we've got a unit from 80 core and a unit from 85, so I think it's going to activate both of them reserve units. Activate all units in 2 hexes, including bracket units regardless of supply. Also activate reserve units in the same core as any of the on-map active units. And then all attacks conducted in this activation benefit from artillery. So we do have an active 85th unit and an active 80 core unit. So both the two units will become, unfortunately they're from the 7th Army as well, which but they're not on the board yet, so it's quite lucky, because if they'd got on the board first, then they might have been involved as well. Okay, so yeah, we'll need to keep in mind about the reserves. Now the support card combat tactics is engineers, so it's not assault coordination, and then any attack they make, they get artillery on top of what other combat tactic that they might draw. Okay, so right, let me have a look, see what's moving about. Right, so first of all, there's no roadblocks. As for army objective, well, the army objective is it's probably only it's in its second space, isn't it? What's that? Yeah, the army objective is only in its second placement, but there's not a German unit within 2 or proximate to it, so it's still going to stay where it is. Now, this core, is it on the camera yet? This core objective is still here, but there's still an allied unit within 3 of it, so again it's going to stay there as well. So that's it. Right, now when we go to move them, because we've got some that have a core objective, we're going to move them first before we check. Well, to be honest, it's only going to be this one unit that's not following the core objective rules, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to 1, 2, 3. We're going to activate and move the 80 core units first. Okay, so send an order. This is unit number 1. He's already adjacent to his nearest allied unit, so he's not going to move. Next unit would be number 5. He's the same. Next unit's number 6, so he's going to move adjacent. Now his nearest unit's either that one or that one. However, he's going to move into that hex, because that's the empty hex as well. So that's a control marker as well. So he is going to move into here, across the river. Now he moved out. Yeah, that should get a detachment, shouldn't it? And there's no issues. There's no allied supply traceable to that by moving there. Okay, and then the last unit, number 7. 2. Right, this is his closest unit, so he wants to move adjacent to that. And no, hold on though. So ideally, he wants to move here because that's the empty hex. I think that's going to leave supply traceable this time though, isn't it? One, yeah. Yeah, not sure he can move, because once we take I just had it. I just moved the page, Grant. Why did you move the page? Yeah. At the moment we've got Consdorf, so and it locks out hex 2603. Sorry, it's just off camera. This road here for Allies tracing supply. And it only talks about the roads, but we came to the conclusion that any hexes, because I thought, well, there's no mention of this hex, the supply can be traced through this hex, but we came to the conclusion, Martin said that he felt that any hexes east of that were out of commission for supply. So, but that's east of that. This hex here isn't. So if I do move even here, which, okay, he wants to go here, we know that, then Allied supply can be traced to that town through this hex here. And the only way we're going to get round about that is, well, if there was another unit there, obviously, but if we take Mersch locks off hex 2608, which is here, and also 2606 and 2605. It only talks about the road hexes, so I don't know if there's something else maybe missing there or not. But it seems like if we take Mersch, then all of a sudden, then that from there east is all going to be shut off. But we don't have that at the moment. So, and then even I'm moving there, it's still Ally Supply is going to be traceable to the town. So he's not going to be able to move out of there, unfortunately. So I think that's going to be it for the 80 core units. So, and then the last one is going to be this guy. So, yeah, he's unlikely to be doing anything, isn't he? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this guy doesn't exert zone of control, does he? He's bracketed, so you could potentially come across. Right, give me a sec. Yeah, he's going to take a different... Oh no, that bridge is broken. Yeah. Okay, he's not. Sorry, my bad. I'm thinking he's going to move towards Ettelbrook, but there's a broken bridge here, so... Right, hang on. Back to the drawing board. Okay, I think he's going to move movement method 11 closer to army objective. This is going to be one hex closer to his army objective, so he's going to cross an unbridged river. This guy's not got his zone of control, so yeah, that's fine. This guy's still going to be surrounded. He's also going to be adjacent to this, which is, that's what's, well, yeah, it's going to have a 3-1 advantage if you're counting likes of that. So I don't think that's relevant anyway. That is one hex closer to his army objective. So leaves the detachment there, and that's that. So I think that's all the movement, right? But I'm just being reminded that one of the new rules of today was, it's not a new rule, it's kind of upgraded it. Step 4 of German unit activations is place eligible active reserve units on German detachment markers. Infantry is eligible starting December 18th, and mech units starting December the 21st. So that's a new sort of upgrade to that, starting on the 21st. It's probably not going to do anything, but you never know. So 15.4. Right, I'll have a look. Yeah, okay, I was just looking through all that, and it's the very last part that kind of could do with maybe being at the top part, because I think that's probably the one that's going to find out you're not going to do that. An allied unit is this has to be true. An allied unit is proximate to the detachment. So, you know, it talks about the detachment needs to be in the unit's army, and then needs to be not adjacent to a non-bracketed German unit, and supply can be traced. But I think it's easier to check if an allied unit's proximate to any of the detachments, and it's not, and there's one along here, but that's not the case either. I don't think, nah, it's not. Right, so that's not happening. Okay. Which is probably better for them, because there's a chance they might be able to come and join an attack as reserve units come and join in the attack. Okay, so we've got to make our attack checks now. So we've got a possible check here, and then a possible check here, haven't we? So this goes ascending order, doesn't it? So we've got combat engineers, the support card, so that's not relevant. Right, so unit number 1, he's got 5 strength, so it would be 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, because all they're active, against 4 here. Sorry, against 3. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 against 3. But he's going to get a +1 for just woods in it. Yeah. He's got a +1 for adjacent allied unit. Adjacent supplied allied unit. So yeah. So 9 against 4, so it's 2 to 1. 2 to 1 odds. Attackers include elites, no. It's activated by an army group card, yeah, so he gets a -1 for that. And the support card shows applicable combat tactic. Well, combat engineers is applicable, yes. It's going to get 1 extra strength, yeah. So there's a -2 to the die roll, so it's quite a possibility. Okay, so 2 to 1 odds with a -2. Oh, it's a big 9 though. Maybe still. He's knocking it down to 7. Cancel if less than 3 to 1. Oh well, yeah. No, I needed a lower roll. Yeah, that was a pity. Okay, so that was Unit 1 done the check, but this unit's been checked, so Unit 5 would be next, but this has already had a check. You can't check anything else. Unit 6 would be next, however, and although this unit's been checked, this one's not. So he can make a check on this, and he's got support from this unit. So it's 2 against 2. This is coming across the river, so it's 3 against 2. He's in the forest, giving him a +1, and he's adjacent to an allied supplied unit, giving him +1. Yeah, so it's 3 against 4. So that check's not going to work. And then the last one is this, and then well, actually, that's the same unit in a minute, so that's not going to work either. Right, no. Yeah, I think that's going to be that. You forgot the reserve units, Grant. Okay, backtrack. What did I roll a 9? That was silly. Right. Okay, I need to think about this again. Hang on. Right, let's do it properly this time. So this was the first check. We'll keep the die roll at 9 because I don't like to do that. Change that about because it's not going to make any difference. So we had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these units. But the 2 possible reserves, now they need to be able to be placed in a hex adjacent to the defending stack, and reserve supply needs to be traceable. So yeah, one can actually go here, or well, they could both go here because we've got we've got an armoured unit at 2 strength, and then an infantry unit at 5 strength. These are 4-step unit as well, I need to watch. But they could both stack in that hex though, and they can trace reserve supply just into here and then away across the bridge. So that's fine. So we can add that 7 strength, so that's a big difference. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plus another 7, so 16 against, in fact, maybe we weren't even rolling the dice. 16 against 3, 16 against 4, yeah, it's 4 to 1, isn't it? So that, we wouldn't have been rolling the dice, that's a go. Is that right? Yeah, I think it's 16 against 4 situationally. So this is going to go ahead, no dice roll required. Okay, so apply combat tactics, then we add the reserves. Yeah. Okay. Right, so we're going to draw for combat tactic. Infantry infiltration. Oh, that's 47 core as well. I don't think that's going to help, is it? Because they had them flanked anyway, didn't they? Yeah, had them flanked anyway, so that was good for us. Then if combat tactic on the German support card differs and would benefit the German attack, well, I've been through this one before. Combat engineers, although it might not, it adds 1 strength, so that is going to benefit. So that's going to come along as well. Now he's getting artillery as well with the army card. Okay, so now we want to add the reserves. So let's see how this is going to work. Okay, so let's get these reserves in. So it's ascending order. So it's going to be this infantry unit first. He's unit number 1. So and then we've checked. It needs to be adjacent. It needs to be in reserve supply, and placement in the unit would not overstack. And more than 1 hex. Place a unit in a hex, causing the defender to be surrounded. Then a hex not across the river. Then an empty hex. Well, the unit's already actually surrounded. This is the empty hex, and reserve supply can be traced, which we already looked at. So he goes there, and then the next unit wants to come in as well. This armoured unit. Is he going in the same hex? Well, there's not an empty hex anymore. Then in the hex with the fewest German units, well, there's 1 in each of the hexes. More than 1 choice, placing the hex closest to the reserve unit's army objective. Well, yeah, that's going to be close to the army objective. Yeah, there's one. I knew there was other things that talked about army objective, and then you wondered if it meant core objective. I know John Butterfield came back and confirmed that it was, if it was anything to do with movement, you would look at it, look at its core objective. If it wasn't, if it was advanced after combat, for instance, you would just look at its army objective. So I suppose maybe this is a similar situation. It's not movement as such, so it's just that if it was closest to core objective, it would go there. The closest to army objective would go there. But so I don't suppose it's nothing to do with movement, so we'll put it here. That's what I think we were coming right in. And there's six steps in that stack, so that's good. Yeah, okay. So that's the reserves. Now, we can play a combat tactic. Well, let's work out the numbers first. Let's see where we're at now that it's so 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 and another 7, so it is 16 against 3. So it's 5 to 1, isn't it? 5 to 1 odds. Oh, wait a minute, he's got combat engineers as well. Is that, what did I say, 16, 17 to 3. No, it's still be 1 short of that. So 5 to 1 odds. Chip pools are, I think he's 4 steps as well, isn't he? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. There's no elites, but there's 2 4-step units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 2 4-step units, that's 7. The infantry infiltration is 8. The combat engineers is 9, and the artillery is 10. Wow, it's a meaty attack. 10 chip pools, 5 to 1 odds. Yeah, and we can't play combat engineers because they played it, so that's part of the deal with that as well, isn't it? Yeah, the only option I've got the core artillery card, 5th Corps card. I mean, they're playing artillery as well, but the fact that it shuffles into my deck again seems like it probably still worth playing, isn't it? Yeah, I mean it's not a combat I'm terribly worried about down that area, but I've got to remember what is it, R1? Is it R1? It's under all these cards down there, so I've got to be wary of that. If they start wiping all these units out, then you know it's some nice victory points. Right, we'll have to find it. It is R1, Yeah, it's 5 victory points. So I've got to be wary about that. Yeah, I've got both 5th Corps cards in my hand. I've got the supplementary one as well, so I don't see why I shouldn't play this. So, yeah, I'll play my core artillery as well. So at least I've got something. I mean, it's looking a bit grim, but you never know if the artillery goes my way. It might be good. And he does have, well, he has one retreat into here, doesn't he? One safe retreat into here. Unfortunately, the other one wouldn't be, but... right, okay, yes. Let's play my artillery. So, that's good with that. He's going to draw 10 combat chits. 5 to 1 odds. Right, let's see how it goes. Interesting battle. It didn't finish so well. I like this one defender artillery though, but it's an A1. They prefer the D-1, I think, because well, we got a couple of Woods chits. It was good. Combat engineer. Remember he played combat engineer. He's got us flanked. Tacker green, tacker elite. No, that doesn't apply. Only defender combined arms. I thought I had that one, but remember one of this unit here was an armoured unit, because all the other units are infantry, so that didn't apply either. Just it's 2 to 1 at the end, I think. Right, let's work out the numbers. Yeah, 2 each, I think. Yeah. I suppose could have been worse. Could have been, because I think I can survive that, can't I? Yeah. Okay. The best way to do this is I'm going to retreat into here. That satisfies 1 hit, and then yeah, I think. Well, yeah, either I could take the step loss and stay there beside this unit, or retreat and have to take a step loss and become dispersed. But it then puts me in a place where I can trade supply. I don't know what's better there. Yeah, it's not good, is it? It's neither option's good, really, is it? But right, well, I'm definitely taking the step loss. Am I retreating? I don't really want to be dispersed though, do I? So I think I'll just stay in the hex. I'll take the step loss in the hex to satisfy the other hit. Yeah. I suppose it makes a lot of odds, but yeah, it's a bit of shambles down there, isn't it? It's starting to look like once they get the 53rd Corps units on the board, then R1 could get threatened, to be honest. Oh, mind you, I've got the 3rd Corps, haven't I? And yeah, I've got the 3rd Corps units. I forgot about them, so hopefully they can come to the rescue. Or come and protect R1 at least. Right, so Germans have to take 2 hits as well. There's no hits unfulfilled, so, and they didn't play Assault Coronation, so they do have to take 2 hits. So let me look. So they're taking 2 hits, and the first hit needs to go to a 4-step unit if there's any. Well, there's 2 4-step units in this attack, so my guess is they're the ones that are going to both take the hit. I mean, between the 2 it would be... Oh, look, it doesn't matter, Grant, come on. They're both going to take a hit. Oh, he's got an IP. Oh, he shouldn't have an IP. He was attacking. Right, okay, so... Yeah, it'd be lowest core, wouldn't it? So 80 core would take the first hit. So he drops to 4, and actually these should all be attacking, shouldn't they? And then 85th core would take the next hit. That was just to say that was the activation. Well, I think we're done with that anyway, aren't we? So that's the 2 hits satisfied. Now, are they going to advance after combat? I'm just going to take some of the cards out of the way. I'm going to shuffle this into my deck as well while I remember. So advance after combat, ascend in order. So this unit's dropped to a 2. This is a 3. What's he? Oh, he's a 3 as well. Right, let's look at the 2 anyway. Has it got any arrows? Yeah, primary arrows, so it's going to be an auto advance, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So he's going to advance into here. These 2 3s. That's another route, isn't it? It's not close to their army objective. It's other route, so they're not going to advance. 5 is going to be other route as well. That's not closer. Now this was the bit that was confirmed, wasn't it, by John? It's not core objective. They're looking at army objective. So, well, it wouldn't have made any difference with that one. Unit number 6. Now he is going primary arrow. So any issues leaving the town? No, I don't think so. So there's already a unit advance, so he would advance on a 1 to 6. Yeah. I'll just roll that off camera. He's rolled a 2. So yeah. So as long as he's not got any issues with that, now we would be leaving detachments, kind of forgetting about them, aren't we? One would be left there. One should be left there as well, shouldn't it? Yeah, I think that's that. Okay. And then we still, well, because I had to rewind things because of the reserves, we would have then been looking at this unit because he could still do a check to attack here, but this is across the river, so it's 1 against, and he's in the forest and all sorts. So there's not going to be a combat there. So I think that's it. Okay, that's taken a heck of a time. I feel like I've been away too long. I wasn't sure what I was doing there half the time, and it's certainly not speeded things up, has it? Okay, well, hopefully I can get a video back uploaded though at least, and get moving on with the game. Because at this rate, Kharkov will be along before I get this finished, and there's some dust starting to settle on my map, and oh dear. Right guys, well that's going to be the end of German Impulse because we use the support card. There's nothing else to do, is there? I think all the units, well, apart from the unit in the town, well, he can't build an IP anyway. So, remove to reserves. No, he's stacked on his own, so there's none of that. IPs, he's in a town, he's the only guy that didn't do anything. Then remove disperse markers, right. And then let's say the support card got used as a combat tactic, so that's German Impulse over. I'll sort things out there on the map. I'll cut things now and put this together and maybe make the first part of the 21st. I feel like there could well be some issues in there because I didn't feel confident with any of that. But we'll see. Okay, guys, I'll leave it for now and I'll get back with an Allied Impulse sometime soon. Okay, cheers.